Welcome to the High Adventure Scouting Podcast. This is the source for all things high adventure for scouts, scouters, and anyone else interested in promoting high adventure trips for our youth. You can find all kinds of great high adventure options for your scouts at highadventurescouting.com. We are constantly updating the list of cool trips, and we want your input on your best trip. Welcome, high adventure enthusiasts. We're excited, as always, to highlight a high adventure base on this edition of the High Adventure Scouting Podcast. Now, today we're joined again by Scott Thiessen. He's the director for Zink High Adventure Base. As those of us who know it, it's ZBASE, located in Oklahoma, and it's part of the Indian Nations Council in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Scott, thanks for joining us again on the High Adventure Scouting Podcast.
Happy to be back.
Awesome. Now, we talked last year and kind of did an overview of your high adventure base and the program. So I'm not going to rehash that. If anybody wants to go back and listen to that episode, you can go back in the archives and take a listen. It's pretty good, and Scott does a really good overview of what they have at the base. Now, this time around, I want to get into update of what's coming up for 2021 for ZBASE. How did the first year go? Of ZBASE.
So the first official year went really well. Like I said, we were dealing with the pandemic like a lot of others, but we were able to actually run a season this last summer, and went off really well and able to accommodate quite a few other crews at the last minute that had their summer camp plans change at the last minute, and so we were able to accommodate people, and we were happy to do that. But overall, we had a great time, and everybody just really enjoyed our unique outdoor adventures and the way we offer them. And so we were just building upon that this year in 2021 and just expanding on that. And so new things we got going on is, we were still into construction at the end of 2020. So we are actually fully constructed now. And one of the last adventure areas that we had to get going was our wake park. So we were really excited to get that up and operational this next year and get scouts out there, because it's really unique and really something that nobody else has in scouting, and there's very few in the country actually. So it's a big cable system, and if you're ever familiar with water skiing or wakeboarding behind a boat, this does the same thing except there's no boat. It's just a big cable system that pulls you around. It's about a quarter-mile circle that takes you around. And it's just really awesome to get on a wakeboard and learn how to wakeboard, and there's no boats involved. And you just go back and just wakeboard time and time again. And it's a system that can fit up to 6 riders at a time. So you can have 6 people out there going around in a circle. And it's one of those things that makes us very unique, and we're really excited to get that going. And then we offered some jet ski personal watercraft program last year, but we were still constructing our actual area we're going to house it at, and so we are excited to unveil that, since we have a cabin there, and what we also have what we call tiny cabins. And so what makes ZBASE really unique, we provide all the housing, and so one of the options we call tiny cabins, and they have little bunk beds in there, and we actually put air conditioners in little tiny cabins, so you get to go and play on jet skis and learn how to do that, and then go up to the lodge and hang out for the evening. And then when you're ready to go to bed, go to the tiny cabin, some air conditioning, and the next day get up and start your adventure again.
Oh my gosh, I've never had that happen, ever.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. And then, like I said, we have Adirondack cabins, which are 3-sided cabins, and they have bunk beds in there, and we have tree houses, and then the tiny cabins. We have tree houses, and then we have our Western Village, our hotel in our Western Village. And that's a big bunkhouse style. And we are actually probably going to be fitting those with air conditioners as well. So it'll be something unique to have to do your adventures during the day, and then at night get to cool off in some air conditioning before you get up and go hiking, backpacking again the next day. So again, just everything. Try to make it unique.
Yeah, we know it's not cool weather in Oklahoma in the summer.
No, so. it's not. Early in June, it's definitely warm. That's for sure. We just try to accommodate that, and where our focus is really about the adventures and how they do that. and not so much on the actual backpacking hiking that's a part of it, but the sleeping and those accommodations. Try to make that just unique and something that's people will remember us by. So
We all know the major high adventure bases around the country, and they offer some awesome programs. Have you been searching for a cool alternative from your typical high adventure trip? As a scout leader, I want to give our scouts some great alternatives. You need to check out highadventurescouting.com. You'll find information on over 30 different council high adventure bases in 24 states. Maybe you're looking for a do-it-yourself option and need some ideas. Maybe you've taken a great trip and you want to share your good fortune with your fellow scouts and scouters. Just send us the details and we'll publish your trip. Whatever your interest, highadventurescouting.com is the one-stop shop for all things high adventure. That's highadventurescouting.com. Now, the new options, the wake park, jet ski, are those going to be more incorporated into all or some of the adventures you guys have already established?
yeah, so we offer 8 different treks. We we call them by different colors, and the wake park and the jet skis and everything we have is all divided up, so they're not featured on every trek. We definitely
Right.
encourage people to get going early and sign up for which trek they want to do, because we'll fill up pretty fast, especially with some of these unique things. So if you really want to do some of those stuff, we really got to get on those and get those booked up.
That's exactly right. Now, I think last year you were kind of starting out for your first full season, and you guys were just going during the month of June. Now, have you expanded that at all, or is it still mainly a June-based high adventure base?
Right now, it's still pretty much June. If there is a demand, we have no problem going into the July months. But we're trying to just do a focused effort and make sure we have everything covered as far as staff wise. And then just the weather, honestly, is you know cooler, a little less humid in Oklahoma at that time. So hit most of it then, but we are definitely open to going into July and longer if there's a demand. So
Right, absolutely. Well, I've been in North Carolina in July, and it's just as hot there as it is in Oklahoma in
it
July.
seems like it's
So
hot everywhere in the summertime. So
it sure is. It sure is. So, what are some deadlines coming up that troops looking for options need to kind of look at?
the biggest deadline we got is really just to get some kind of commitment here pretty soon. Like I said, we offer our treks um, on certain days, and we only offer them so many times throughout the summer, just so we can space everything out correctly. So again, you can either choose the trek that you want and then find which date works, which it's offered on, or if you can only make it a certain date, then we only have certain treks offered in that date range. So if especially adult leaders, if you can only get so much time off or certain vacation days, then it's really important to make sure you get those treks booked pretty early, because it's a first come first serve. And we do that just to make sure we have all the state, our program equipment, and all our staff available to have do all these unique adventures. So it's not necessarily a choose your own adventure, and what you're doing well in advance, and you actually get to choose that. But choosing the date and/or the trek is really important, and then
So,
and just keeping up with the payment deadlines. We have a $50 per person deposit, and then the first big payment's March 1st, and then the next one is May 1st. So just keeping up with those payments as they come through, and we're pretty affordable. It's $550 a person to do a week long trek, so it's extremely reasonable, and your travel is really not too expensive depending on where you're coming from, because we're right next to an interstate. We're 35 minutes away from downtown Tulsa, so it's not like you have to go out in the middle of anywhere to get to us. So, and we're about 15 minutes away from the airport too, so it's pretty close.
that's a good sized airport. I've been through that airport before, and it's easy to get just about everywhere from there. So so, and that you answered, gosh, the questions I was going to ask if the price had gone up and kind of what some of the deadlines were for payments and so on. So now, refresh my memory and everybody that's listening. What kind of minimum, maximum groups per trek that you guys are looking at?
So we asked the minimum be 6 people, so four scouts, 2 adults minimum, and then our max is 12, and we want obviously more scouts than adults, so we're trying to limit to about four adults max. Um, we can go a little bit higher than that, but our program is really set up for that max of 12. And then we've had some troops and some crews that come that bring a lot. We can either do we can do it a couple of different ways. They can pick different treks during the same week, or we can actually do a sister trek where we get them going, and then one leaves earlier, and then the other one follows behind, so we can get them in the programs and get them through, and then they just kind of stagger their travel a little bit. That way they can have plenty of time to do all the adventures, but that way a troop can bring a lot if they have a lot. But we're a little bit flexible on the max. We can do a little more than 12, but we just have found that 12 is a magical number to make sure everybody has a good time and the crew rolls, and also in the program when they get to do when they're there.
Exactly, exactly. Now, before we started recording for the episode, we talked a little bit about kind of the challenges that you guys had, that everybody had last summer or this past summer with closures and so on. And you indicated your program really lent itself well to kind of social distancing within those groups. And I'm sure that's an important thing for scout leaders and parents looking forward to next summer. Might this be a good option?
Yeah, we really feel like we are well suited to be do this during this pandemic, and the way things are going. I think we are all in the outdoor program business are looking that things are going to be hopefully a little better, but we're still planning it's going to be kind of the same as last year. So I think ZBASE offers where crews could come out and social distance. Like I mentioned earlier, we kind of figure that if you're coming and you're traveling together, that you're a family group, and we just treat you as a family group. We just keep your group together and separate it from everybody else. And you can really spread out over 35,000 acres. Uh, so you can really get far apart and do some of the stuff and not have a ton of interaction with other crews, other than just passing by here and there. And so I think we lend ourselves to really do that in the concentric circles that they're talking about, and keeping your family group together, and still be able to enjoy it when you're out, because you're outside all the time. So it's really a really unique place to do some of this stuff. So, but we feel like we're really situated that, and we've kind of proved it last year, following all the COVID procedures when you're in base camp and in the adventure areas and sanitizing and everything else like that. But we were able to really treat everybody like just a small group and really get them social distance and still really enjoy everything without hindering the actual program.
Well, hopefully by the time that we get to next summer, things will be much better. But who knows? I didn't think we'd be at this point. At this point,
Right.
so yeah. Well, Scott, anything else you want to add for? This is just kind of an update on what's coming up for the next year, to kind of give everybody a little bit of idea of something else, to another trip to look at.
Yeah, one of the things we want to highlight is we're more than just a summer high adventure, and we offer these unique adventures year round. And so we really started kicking off doing what we call weekend adventures, and we're going to expand that even more this next year. And we offer actually quite a bit of we call merit badge weekends, and it's really troops out because we got a lot of troops that want to go do some fun stuff, unique stuff, but a lot of their kids aren't quite old enough to get out there. But we kind of combine an advancement opportunity and then offering it in a unique way. So this past fall, we just did a hiking backpacking merit badge weekend, and so we were able to go out and hike and backpack throughout ZBASE and try out some new trails and blaze some new trails. And most of our scouts got most of them, most of those 2 merit badges. We do a fish camp, which is it's the 3 fishing merit badges. So fishing, fly fishing, and fish and wildlife management. And we do that over a long weekend as well. So we're about to do here in just a few weeks, we're doing the climbing merit badge out there. So we're going to use our adventure tower. And then we found some natural rock places where we can go climbing or rappelling. So we're going to go off and get the whole climbing merit badge. And again, just do it something really unique where you get to actually see some stuff that nobody ever really gets to see at ZBASE. So we're going to more of those as we keep going along. And next year, we're exploring doing a wilderness survival merit badge and some ATV weekends. And so so just keep up to date with ZBASE.camp because it's not just summertime. And if you're within 4 or 5 hour drive, it's really not a bad weekend to come and have something really unique to do, and then walk away with some merit badges and some advancements at the same time.
Awesome. Well, that sounds cool. We need to start promoting that stuff also. Those are good opportunities. Now, last thing I'll ask is the age for, especially with the high adventure programs. How old do participants need to be a part of that?
So we go by it's 13 by September 1st. So you could be a little older 12-year-old and still come out of high adventure. However, there are a few things that we offer that you have to be 14 or 13 and complete the 8th grade, so basically venturing age, and that's our ATVs and our jet skis are required to be a little bit older. Everything else we can get by with 13 by September 1st. So.
Okay. And scout leaders kind of have an idea of which scouts can do things like that, depending on not just age, but physical ability and so on.
Yeah, we do. When we have those older 12-year-olds or a younger 13, we do kind of caution and make sure that one physical, even though it's our hiking, our trekking is really not that far in between areas. You're talking around 5 to 8 miles every day, and sometimes it's only like maybe 2 or 3 mile hike and you're there. But still, it's not easy, and it's still backpacking. And some of the adventure areas are physical too. So we just want to caution people that they need to be, physically strong, and then also just to kind of emotionally mature too to handle some of this stuff. Because we want to make sure they have a great time while they're there, not be too mature to come. But it's not terribly hard. It's not like a Philmont where you're traveling 10, 12, 16 miles a day. But definitely not easy either. Still physically demanding.
Exactly. Awesome. All right, Scott, I appreciate you taking a few minutes and kind of updating us on what's coming up this summer, and let us know if there's anything else coming up, and I'll share it with the audience. So
that's great. Sounds great, and I always appreciate the opportunity and follow you guys and all the other high adventure bases out there and all the stuff that they're doing, all the great stuff that's going on out there. So
awesome. All right. Well, I want to thank Scott Thiessen, director at the Zink High Adventure Base, better known as ZBASE, near Tulsa, Oklahoma, for joining us today. Now, you can get more information on their programs at zbase.camp. That's zbase.camp. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to tell your friends about this podcast. You can find us online at highadventurescouting.com, on Facebook or Instagram. If you have any questions or ideas for future podcasts, just email us at info@highadventurescouting.com. This podcast and website are independent and not affiliated with any youth organization. Happy high adventure! This has been a production of High Adventure Resource.